So I'm going to discuss a topic that is going to be not controversial, but this is going to be something that hits emotion. Um, you may have come back and tell me that I'm wrong. It's not going to work for you, and it may not. Um, I don't know you. I don't know your relationship. I don't know your personality, but I do know that I'm constantly being contacted by people saying, like, how do I get my spouse to um, stand by me? How do I get my spouse to work the business? How do I get my spouse to drink Shakeology? How do I get my spouse to work out? How do I get my spouse to eat healthy? Um, and I hear a lot of coaches who, attribute their lack of success in the business to the fact that their spouse does not support them. I'm just going to share a little insight. My husband and I, we're a lot alike, but we're also very different. But I am blessed that he is very supportive of me, and usually is supportive of pretty much anything I want to do. A lot is just my personality. That anybody knows that if I want to do something, um, I'm going to have done my research and I'm going to feel pretty deeply about it, and there's not going to be anything that stops me from doing what I want to do, because I don't really just make decisions off of raw emotion. I used to be very impulsive, and that comes from the ADD in me. But I've learned as I've gotten older to not act on impulse and to definitely be pretty strong in your beliefs and know yourself and know what you want to do and what you will tolerate and not tolerate and where you're wanting to go in life. So I feel that any decision I make is pretty well founded, and I have good supportive information to back up my decision. So a lot of people don't really challenge me on things that I do because they know this about me. And so I think that's a lot of why Ryan and I work well together. I didn't tell him that I bought my P90X challenge pack because I guess I was afraid of failure, and I didn't want him laughing at me. Really looking back, he wouldn't have, but it's in my own head. It was my own self-esteem issues. So then whenever he found out that I did order it, he didn't care about how much money I spent on it, but he was like, oh my God, you bought the P90X. He was like, nobody ever finishes that. And I've told the story before. My initial reaction was, I actually swore at him. But I won't tell you everything that I said. But basically I said, you're supposed to support me, and how dare you say something like that to me? And then I got very defensive, and I said, well, you know what? Now I'm going to finish it because I'm not going to have you or anyone else proved right. And so I used that as my motivation. He apologized to me. He's like, no, I'm not saying that. He's like, just, not a lot of people finish it. And I get where he's coming from. I totally do. But from right then and there, I stood up for what I wanted to do. I told him what how I felt. And we got that off of, cleared the air, and got that all taken care of. And as I went through what I was doing, it was actually nicer to be able to share with him what I was doing instead of, only doing it while he was gone. And he became very supportive of me. He made sure that, at the time I refused to work out in front of anybody because I had such low self-esteem. So he always made sure that he kept all of the kids, occupied for an hour or, 90 minutes if I was doing Yoga X. That way I had that time. And so it was very clear of what I wanted to do and what I needed from him. I never, took that initial statement that he made as a personal attack. I didn't let that discourage me. I used that as my motivation. Um, 2 weeks later, I decided to sign up as a coach, and he was working out of town. I didn't ask him, do you mind if I sign up as a coach? I know a lot of people, discuss, their finances, but I didn't. I just signed up as a coach. He saw it on Facebook just like the rest of the world, and I honestly don't even remember the conversation that we had about this. I just started doing it. I mean, you can ask him throughout, the last almost 2 years of me being a coach. There were times where, he did feel neglected, and I was pouring myself so heavily into what I was doing, not because I was using it as something to sidetrack me, not because he didn't matter, but because I was working really hard to, because I saw a future in this. And so there was times that he'd have to remind me that I was, maybe neglecting my wifely duties, my motherly duties, my, household duties, whatever it was. And, I'm not going to lie, I was defensive. But it all came down to as I started sharing with him what I was doing, what I saw in the business, how it made me feel. where I was, standing, in line with all the other coaches, and that I was excelling. And then I finally shared with him, this is what I want to do. And I treated it like a business. I didn't treat it like a hobby. I didn't let his words or anybody else's belief that I would fail hold me back. And I was just very clear with him what I wanted to do and that I saw a future. And there have been times, just like other spouses, that I tried to force things on him, that I tried to make him do. And the thing is, he supports me 100%. He drinks his Shakeology every day. As soon as he found out I was drinking Shakeology, he wanted to try it. He liked it. He's been drinking every day since then. Has had some amazing health benefits from drinking it daily. But I never had to force him. He just started doing that. I've tried to force upon him eating healthy. I forced him to do Ultimate Reset, which he did lose 20 pounds and his cholesterol dropped 80 points. So he does know the benefit, but he's just not one of those people who is, overjoyed and excited when you put a plate of broccoli or zucchini in front of him. So I've had to learn that this is just not something that he's receptive to, and I'm not going to force him. And so this is one thing that I definitely suggest to other coaches is don't force feed your spouse things that they're not ready for, because they will become resentful if that becomes the basis of all of your conversation. Is it eat a plate of broccoli, eat some cauliflower, try this apple? They may not want to do it. They may not want to drink Shakeology. I do kind of have a trick on getting your spouse to drink Shakeology if they're, receptive and you haven't already like beat them in the head with it where they absolutely hate it. But I always tell my coaches and my customers if they're, dying for their spouse to get on it, because usually it's because they see the need for them to improve their health. I always say challenge them to drink it. I tell them try it for 1 week, try it for 2 weeks, try it every day. I'll make it for you. And if you don't like it, then that's fine. I'll never, never, ever approach the situation again, and I will never ask you to drink it. Most spouses will actually just do whatever to shut their spouse up, to humor them. And, they think like, okay, if this just shuts them up forever, if I just do it for 2 weeks. Well, a lot of my coaches have been like, here, honey, here's your shake. Here, honey, here's your shake. At 2 weeks, they just stop. Then there's their spouse with their mouth hung open. Hello, where's my shake? Oh, you wanted one? I thought we were at the end of the 2 weeks. And then that's when they have to say, I was skeptical, but this stuff made me feel great, and I'm dragging because I didn't get my daily dose of dense nutrition today. And this is how you turn them into a believer, and this is how you sell your husband or your wife on this like yummy, yummy goodness. Part of what I was saying also is the fact of neglect. If you have been neglecting your family time, your quality time, you're letting things slip in the house, you're not paying bills, and you're getting bill collectors because you're so wrapped up in your, Beachbody business, which I'm going to, admit it's happened to me before, then this starts causing problems, and this starts causing, resentment. So you need to make sure that you step back and make sure that you, number one, schedule what needs to be done, that you make sure that the priorities, the things that make your household flow, the things that make your family feel important keep happening. Because here's the thing is, you can put your nose to the grinding stone and you can work your tail off to try to reach whatever financial or rank advancement or how many people you want to help at the end of the year goal, and you may get there, but if you've alienated yourself from all of your friends and all of your family and all of the people who you care about and why you're doing this feel like they are less important than they were in the beginning, they're not going to say, well, that's great that Beachbody helps you do this, and that's great that you get to leave your full-time job and be home. Because they're going to say, I don't want anything to do with you. You've abandoned us. You've made us feel like crap, and I don't want anything to do with you. So here's the thing is, if you reach your goal and you're at your highest point of success, and the people why you were doing it don't want to be anywhere near you because you've been horrible, then was it really worth it? I know that I was a bear when I was, trying to get to where I am. And now I see how, calm things are now that I'm not working, now that I'm not trying to juggle two things. So this is one thing that I just want to share with everybody is make sure that you don't become so encapsulated in your goal that you totally alienate yourself from others. This is one thing that I learned at the Franklin Covey time management seminar that I went to in July was the importance of finding balance. We wear too many hats. We have too many obligations. We have a lot of people we're trying to please, a lot of people we're trying to love, and sometimes we neglect things, and your life needs to be balanced. If not, you can't keep it up for a long time. Things will kind of go down the drain. I realized myself that I wasn't spending a lot of time with my best friend. And she stopped asking me to do things because Mindy's always busy. She's always going here. She's going there. And even when I had spent time with her, I was very distracted. I was on my phone, checking into challenge groups, messaging people back that were my challengers. And so this is something that I've had to really step back and make sure that I schedule time with the people that I love and make sure that they're very important. So this is something that I really, encourage you to do with your loved ones. If your family members and your spouse don't see the value in Beachbody now, that's fine. If you've listened to any of the National Coach calls, if you've been to any of the Success Club trips or Summit, you'll hear from many other coaches. A lot of them are the elite coaches who are speaking, who were in the same shoes. Their husbands would not stand for a penny being spent on any health or fitness crap, or they didn't see the value in becoming a coach. So the people had to save up money on their own, and then they invested into this, and then they used that as a big motivating factor to make this work. And then in the end, their spouses became their most cherished supporter. So, take a moment, reevaluate your time, making sure you're balancing and making sure that you're spending time with the people you love, and that you find your why, and you make sure that you let everybody know how much this means to you and what you're trying to achieve so that they do support you. And good luck to you. Be a product of the product, and stand steadfast for what you want. Eventually, they'll come around if they see that it makes you a better person.